Hey everyone, welcome back. This week I'm showing off a super hyper offensive team featuring both of the new Regis, Regidrago and Regieleki. This is a really big departure from my previous videos that showcase teams tend to be more bulky and positioning based. Instead, this time we're using Whimsicott with Tailwind, Helping Hand, and Switcheroo Eject Button to support Life Orb Regieleki and White Herb Cinderace. This is just going to let us gain momentum as quickly as possible in the early game, so then we can use our Dragon Fang Regidrago and our Choice Band Urshifu to just clean up in the end game. Hopefully with a leftover Tailwind. Finally, we've got Focus Sash and DD Mail to imprison Trick Room. Since a team like this, it pretty much loses immediately if the opponent manages to get Trick Room up. Banded Urshifu and Regidrago also really appreciate the Fake Out protection from Psychic Terrain, but we've also got to be careful with that since it disrupts our Whimsicott Switcheroo. Anyway, that's the team, so let's jump into some games with it. Alright, we have opponent number 1 here. Noi, rank 1800 or so. Okay, well they're higher than us. Alright, yeah, so I actually think I have seen this team before. I'm pretty sure that Cybertron featured it at some point. I do like Regidrago for it. They've got 2 dragons, so that would be nice. But they've also got a Steel and a Fairy with Celesteela and Grimmsnarl, so I don't think we can lead Regidrago. This seems like a good opportunity to lead with Cinderace. We'll probably also want our Whimsicott just because they have Tailwind and Tornadus, so we're very speed focused. We need to match their Tailwind if they choose to do that. We can bring Regidrago in the back to try to clean up their dragons. And then as for the last slot, anything here would work. I don't really like Eleki for this because of Garchomp and because of the potential Lightning Rod on that Alola Marowak. So Urshifu is just our safe, nice sweeper to keep in the back. Indeedee could work, but I don't see any potential Trick Room setters, so yeah, it's Urshifu. Alright, so they lead with Celesteela and Grimmsnarl. Really happy we didn't go with Regidrago then. Okay, so I'm still a little scared of maxing though, because it could be Trick Full Incense, at which point our Cinderace is useless. So I actually like the idea of just going for a plain old Pyro Ball onto Celesteela. And then we can put Switcheroo onto it too. Now they could fake us out, but that means they're not doing Trick. And if they do fake out Whimsicott, then we have our eject button, so that'll let us switch it out safely and just get Tailwind up on a later turn. Other thing to consider is that most Celesteelas run Modest, and max speed Modest Celesteela caps out at 113, which is good. That lets you beat base 100s, but Cinderace is higher than base 100, so even if they get an Airstream off, without Tailwind, we will still outspeed them. And yep, there's the fake out, so we can switch out Whim. So this is something to consider, right, in that, we only have fragile stuff in the back, and, Urshifu will just die to an Airstream flat out and give them a Beast Boost, so I think we have to swap in Regidrago here. It's not the most bulky, but it has a ton of HP, and it's at least neutral to an Airstream, so that is definitely the play. Fireball connects, amazing. You know, I'm wondering if Helping Hand Max Fireball would have killed, but yeah, we would have run the risk of Full Incense. There's the Airstream. Do you take it? Yeah, Regidrago eats it up. So that's pretty nice. It's probably one of the only even semi-defensive switch-ins we have on this team. So for this turn, let's not take any more risks with Pyro Ball. We can just kill Celesteela with a Max Fireball. And I think we just want to switch Drago back out into Whimsicott. It's not doing any damage into either of these two, especially not Grimmsnarl, who we're not attacking, and then we can just get Tailwind up after that. I don't think they can kill Whim. We should be able to just outspeed and kill Celesteela, and then Grimm, the most it can do is a Spirit Break, and as long as they don't crit us, I'm pretty sure we should just be fine to eat up a Spirit Break with Whimsicott. Big rabbit. Honestly, that design's growing on me. I didn't like it at first, but... Scary face. Okay, so We have a White Herb. It's really lucky that wasn't Thunder Wave. If it was Thunder Wave, we'd be in big trouble, but Fireball takes out Celesteela. Great. Okay, so our White Herb really came in handy here. And they don't even put any damage into Whimsicott, so we can easily get our Tailwind up this coming turn. Who do they send out? It's Garchomp. Okay, so I actually like this a lot. We have Drago to clean this up, so what we can do is just take out Grim entirely with a Steel Spike, and boost our defenses against this Garchomp, and we'll set up our Tailwind so our Mons in the back can take advantage of that whenever we go down, if we go down at all for that matter. Protect on Garchomp. Okay, so perfect. They're handing us this game on a silver platter. But this is kind of how hyper offense goes, right? Is that if you can get stalled out and lose, but also if you make your calls right, then they just roll over and die, and that's a really fun playstyle if you can manage it. And Scary Face, yeah, that's rough, but that pretty much just puts us at neutral speed with the Tailwind, so Cinderace should still continue to outspeed their entire team. Alright, Focus Sash Grimmsnarl. Did not see that one coming, but sure, why not? That means they will probably get a real Scary Face off on us next turn, but I think I'm okay with that. So now, I guess we just offset the speed boost. It's still gonna be, we're gonna be at -1, I guess. But -1 under Tailwind is still pretty good. And then Moonblast into the Chomp. So yeah, here comes Scary Face. They'll still outspeed our Cinderace this turn, which isn't ideal, but Moonblast did a good chunk into Garchomp. I don't think we're even going to need Regidrago to take that out. Oh, especially not because they killed their own teammate, so now the Airstream should just take out Garchomp and we'll be in a 4v1 situation. Amazing, okay. Wonder what their fourth is now. Okay, Tornadus. I guess they were banking on a late-game Tailwind. That might have been a really good strategy if they'd managed to take out Whimsicott, which I guess was what they were going for on turn 1, so it makes a lot of sense. But for now, we can just attack into it. It really doesn't matter. We have just an overwhelming numbers advantage, and the absolute worst case is that we get to just do Choice Banded Sucker Punches with Urshifu. Oh, and Pyro Ball misses though. Oh no, wait, it did miss. Okay, I got confused by the type change delay, but okay. Well, I really should have just done Iron Head here. Got to be careful not to throw the game in these scenarios. We're ahead quite a bit, but that would just make it hurt even more if we managed to throw it away. But Regidrago should resist a Heat Wave, so I think we can just go ahead and attack twice again. And they protect. Okay, I guess that makes sense because this is probably the last turn of our Tailwind, I think. So, yeah, now that Tornadus will outspeed both of us, since Cinderace has all those speed drops on it from Grimmsnarl. Oh, that's actually double clever. I saw a Heat Wave last turn, so I really shouldn't have done the move that makes me Steel type. And I don't have priority either. In retrospect, I guess Bounce was the better move. If they had protected, then I could, have another attack waiting for them the following turn. But Regidrago should eat this up, yeah. And now it's just a matter of whether Draco Meteor connects. And it does, great, so I would think that this will just take out that Tornadus easily. Crit, okay. I don't think we needed it, but we'll absolutely take it. Anyway, I think that game just shows how powerful the Cinderace Whimsicott lead is. I mean, it was huge back in Series 5, and then it dropped off, and I really don't know why. I think it's still strong even now. So we've got our next opponent now. Alright, Yayo. A little worse in the rankings, but let's see what they've got for us. That is an interesting team. That is very Series 5. Yeah, I think this is just going to be Cinderace Whimsicott again. Actually, I think I kind of just want to take the exact same 4. Normally, Incineroar would be an issue for a Cinderace opener, but since we've got that White Herb, we can just, we'll reverse the Intimidate, and then we can just Helping Hand max Knuckle, and put ourselves at +1. That assumes they do lead with Incin, which they might not. There's a case to be made for Indeedee, but I don't see any Trick Room here, and there's also 3 Dark types, so yeah, I mean, we do have the Dazzling Gleam, but it's not even... Tyranitar would take it way too well under Sand, and it would only do neutral to Incin, so yeah, I think it's just the same 4 again for this game. Alright, so they start with Tyranitar and Sableye. That's so 2 Dark types. Right off the bat, that means we can't use our own Switcheroo on them. I am a little worried about Switcheroo from Sableye. I'm worried about all kinds of shenanigans, really. Fake Out would hurt, but like last game, it would be fine. And the problem is I don't think switching really does anything for us because Tyranitar will just put a huge dent in whatever we switch in. Kind of like just going hard offense right off the bat. You gotta take risks with this kind of team sometimes. So we can just put a Knuckle into T-Tarb. 4 times effective. They could protect and proc their own weakness policy. But yeah, and then do we want to Helping Hand that, or we could? It would do. So they might eat a Knuckle, but no. Let's Moonblast because that Sableye is going to be a huge thorn on our side, and this is our only chance to do significant damage to it. They tend to spec pretty bulky, and Fairy's its only weakness, so... Yeah, this, I don't really love pulling the trigger so fast on stuff, but I gotta get in the mindset for hyper offense. Oh, and they're maxing T-Tar right in Cinderace's face, huh? Yeah, I mean, they'll probably eat the Knuckle up, so that makes a lot of sense. We might end up proccing a weakness policy and then just dying, even if we've changed our types. Oh my god, Quash. I forgot about Swampert having Yawn last week and Sableye having Quash. I need to remember what these old mons use. Ooh. Okay, crit. I don't know if that mattered. They do tend to spec bulky, but it was super effective. Anyway, that Sableye is going to die from the sand this turn, so at least we get that, but yeah, we're still fire because of the Quash, so yeah, it's a one-hit KO. Alright, well, we lost our max turn 1. It's not ideal. Okay, so let's think about this. Don't give up on these matches. We've at least got, or at least even in the numbers, even if they have 2 turns of max left. And we have Urshifu in the back. Okay, so that's actually great. Drago isn't doing anything here for us. Only neutral damage, and they're maxed, and they've got that Sandstorm Spadef boost. But Urshifu will absolutely Oko a max T-Tarp. Do have to consider max guard though, which is very possible. And they bring out Corviknight. Okay, so in this situation, we are behind. They definitely got the better of us on turn 1. So I think what we have to do is read a max guard on T-Tar. If we CC that Corviknight, I don't think the problem is that thing's pretty bulky physically, right? And I don't know if Helping Hand would put it over the edge. It might, but we can make a safer play and just switch it out with Switcheroo. They just withdraw. Okay. I guess I would have preferred the max guard, but we'll still take that. They could have absolutely called us out and just killed Urshifu with a Knuckle there, but okay, Rillaboom. That's also a little annoying since they can just bypass speed entirely with that. And this is a case where having Indeedee might have been nice, since we could just cancel its terrain. But let's see how much Wicked Blip. Nice. Okay, actually, wow. So Close Combat did a lot more than I thought it would to Corviknight. I thought that thing was bulkier than it was. I guess Banded Urshifu is just so strong. So in retrospect, we really should have just done Helping Hand CC, and this is just one of those cases where in order to play a team like this really well, you have to either know your calcs or have a damage calculator up while you're playing. Had I known that would be a guaranteed OHKO with Helping Hand, that would have been the play every turn. Every time, rather. So at this point, Rillaboom really threatens our Urshifu since we're at -1 defense. So I think we have to switch it out. Yeah, it does mean that Regidrago will probably eat a Glide here, but it's not very effective. We saw last game that Regidrago's HP pool makes it reasonably tanky. And then Moonblast from Whim, but we definitely put it into Rillaboom because with the Sandstorm up, even though it's super effective, all we'd probably be doing is just gifting T-Tar its weakness policy, assuming it has it, but I didn't really see what else on their team would, and they withdraw. Person's making some really questionable switches here, but let's hope this Moonblast puts some decent chip onto Rillaboom. Alright, that's solid. That's probably a 3-turn KO, I would think. Drum Beating. I know that's its signature move, but I literally don't know what that does, apart from damage. This is really strange moves on my opponent's part here. So at this point, that Corviknight's pretty low, and I know it's not very effective, but with Regidrago's raw strength, I think we can just Dragon Energy, probably Draco Meteor. We can Draco Meteor the Corv to guarantee it goes down, and then just put more chip onto Rillaboom with the Moonblast. We could probably even ignore it the turn after that, since Sand Chip will take it down. There's the Moonblast. That's nice. Okay, didn't really need the drop, but sure. And wait, why is Rillaboom faster than Regidrago? Knockoff loses our Dragon Fang, and Corviknight is too. Okay, did I misspec my Regidrago? It's supposed to be max speed Timid, which I think puts it at 145? I don't think either of those two... I guess it's only base 80. Rillaboom is base 85. That must be a very speedy Rillaboom and Corviknight then. Bizarre. Yeah, either I did my EV training wrong, or... or those are very speedy. This is a strange team. Sand takes it down. To be honest, I kind of wish it hadn't. I would have... If that Rillaboom didn't have Grassy Glide, which it doesn't seem to, I would have rather just stayed on the field since it wasn't doing much to us, but... Okay, so now we bring out Urshifu. I have to think... They're gonna bring out T-Tar. This puts us in a really rough position. Okay. Because CC will kill either of these, right? We've seen that it will definitely do enough to Corviknight, but that allows the other one to just attack us with the defense drop. And I think we've got to just go for Corviknight here. Hope that their Tyranitar doesn't have superpower. And then for Whim, we could Moonblast T-Tar, but I actually think we just need to waste this turn. Tailwind does nothing for us. There's literally no way for them to be faster, so... I know Switcheroo actually also does nothing, but either way, it's just so we don't allow T-Tar to have a weakness policy to then hit Urshifu with a +2 attack when it's at -1. So let's see the Corviknight go down. Great. Alright, it pretty much comes down to this, because T-Tar will win the 1v1 against Whimsicott. Absolutely no problem, so... Iron Head. Okay, they didn't have superpower. That's a really weird move. Honestly, I think our opponent just isn't using very meta choices. So it means we can't predict them, but it also means that they're pretty suboptimal. In the end, we really threw this game on turn 1, and we managed to just claw our way back in. But it's still nice, and it showed off just how strong Choice Banded Urshifu is. This game also would have been over had I just done the Helping Hand CC into Corviknight, and that ends the game. So, good game to my opponent there. Okay, we're looking for our final opponent. We found them. Uh, okay, Nuno, what are you bringing? Okay, you know, I think for this last game, I think we can do our Regi opener. I really like this. The only threat here to us is that Garchomp, and we'll of course open Whim to counter their Whim, but also because if they do open Garchomp, we can just go with our Switcheroo and Max Strike into it. And then after that, they really don't have a lot to threaten us. As for the back, we can definitely bring Regidrago. They do have 2 fairies, but actually, it's not a great Regidrago game, to be honest, 2 fairies and a steel type, but we need something to deal with Garchomp at the end of the day, and it's Regidrago's video, so why not? And then, to round out the back, they've got no terrain setters, they've got no Trick Room, there's no reason to bring in Didi, and I'm not a huge fan of Cinderace outside of Max unless there's just a really compelling reason to do it typing-wise, so let's just play it safe with Urshifu in the back. I am really happy we get a chance to show off Regieleki. I will say that what you've seen in these 2 games so far is pretty representative of my practice with it too. Cinderace Whimsicott is just a very flexible lead opener just because it can change into all those different types. There are very few Mons that can wall it entirely. But when Life Orb Regieleki gets to go off in the beginning of a game, it can just be an absolute steamroll. Of course, you don't always have to max it. Electro Web can be just really nice speed control. Don't even necessarily need Tailwind. But, okay, into the game. They send out Grim and Garchomp. So it sounds like we're going to have to go with our plan of the eject button and the max strike. I'm a little scared of fake out. That would completely destroy our plans, but we don't have protect on Whimsicott, so we don't have a chance to wait it out. So I think we just go for it. That's a risk we have to take. Yeah, so we really hope they max here. That would be ideal. If we can just steal their max right off the bat, it's honestly a very cheap trick, but sometimes this team needs that to keep its momentum up. Hyper offense, obviously very strong, and you want to fish for those Okos if you can get them, but if you can't, then being able to just stop them from moving with our speed is great. Okay, no fake out, also no max. I guess we'll take that, it's not the worst. Let's see. And Lumberry, okay, cool. I don't think AV Garchomp is very common, which is why I felt safe going for it, but that's always a real bummer when you accidentally get an AV on your Whimsicott. Alright, so we switch out the Garchomp. I guess it was going for Stomping Tantrum or EQ. Maybe Sword Stance. It probably felt safe setting up Sword Stance in front of us. Now, what are you going to bring out? Taking a while to choose here. You only have 2 options. As a side note, I really love giant bouncing Aleki. They knocked it out of the park with that design. Okay, their own Whimsicott, right? And Spirit Break into ours. That's fine. We won't be forced out because we got rid of our eject button already. Crit hurts, and the -1 also hurts, but yeah, it could go worse. So at this point, yeah, it's a little risky because they have that Garchomp in the back, but I like the idea of just getting rid of Grimmsnarl immediately. We haven't seen what kind of nonsense it can pull off yet, so Max Lightning based off of Rising Voltage is actually stronger than pretty much anything else besides maybe Thunder. So it's, if that, base 140, it's huge. So we set up our own Tailwind because Whim took that crit. It's probably going down. But instead they go for Fake Tears on our Aleki. Okay. So I guess we're going to eat a Moonblast? It'll hurt for sure, but we're max, so I think it should be fine. And yeah, I mean, honestly, we'll take it since they didn't swap in Garchomp, and look at that. That was just no helping hand, no terrain boost. It's just Life Orb Max Lightning takes out Garchomp immediately. Not Garchomp, Grimmsnarl. How much should we take from this -2 Moonblast? Alright, that's a lot. That hurts. Oh, and we get a special attack drop too. Okay. So that's probably the worst luck we could have in that scenario, but ultimately Regidrago has done its job here. It's gotten a kill. It did a ton of damage to Garchomp. So with this last turn it has, I think we just established speed control, right? Because we're going to have matching Tailwinds now, and their Whimsicott and their Garchomp are both quite fast, and they definitely outspeed our Drago and Urshifu in the back, right? So if we can do a Max Strike to put them at -1, then we will have speed control even under the Tailwind. So let's put the Max Strike, and let's do it into Whimsicott. I really hope that's enough with the -1, and we can double in with Moonblast into it. We could put it into Garchomp, but I don't think it's a good idea because we already have Drago in the back that does damage into that, right? So Strike and Moonblast, and we really hope that we can kill it. They protect Garchomp. Okay, this is the second time a Garchomp is protected when it doesn't have to in front of us, but we'll absolutely take that. Max Strike, not quite enough. I think they're probably going to survive, which means that Moonblast drop to us really mattered. It means they're going to get their own Tailwind up, but they're not going for a Tailwind, since that'll be priority, so I guess they're just going to kill our Alecki this turn. It's kind of a ballsy move, honestly, but yeah, there it is. They could, if that damage calc had played out differently, they could have just lost their chance to have Tailwind up entirely. But it's fine, we still have the speed control here. So let's bring out Drago. We can just score a double KO this turn, I think. Garchomp can't protect. They've lost their other fairy, so we can just go Dragon Energy, and even at -1, this Moonblast should absolutely kill their Whimsicott. Yeah. And if they do any switches, then they'll just eat the Dragon Energy. If Whim sets up Tailwind, then we'll still effectively be a speed stage higher than them, so this should be fine. Regidrago isn't that fast, but at +1, effective +1, it'll still beat Garchomp out. We go Tailwind, okay. That's fine, it's probably the smart move since they know they're going down this turn. Moonblast takes out Whimsicott. And awesome, we get to see this sick animation. Nice. Nice. Okay. Cool. So now we're in a 3v1 situation. They do have their max, but I feel pretty good about this. I think we can, I think we should be able to just force them down with raw numbers now. And it's Alecki. Okay, so we did set up the terrain for them, but at this point I think it's just going to be attack, attack, attack. Still have a turn of our Tailwind, so just... Alright. Wait, no, they have Tailwind too. Oh, okay, that was a mistake. Okay, so I shouldn't have done Dragon Energy, because Dragon Energy is just a Dragon-type water spout, which means that it goes off of our HP. So if they target Regidrago here, and they should, since it's a bigger threat, our Dragon Energy is going to do very little damage because we won't have much HP left. If I had just gone for Draco Meteor, this game would be over as long as it connected. God, yeah, it's Tailwind. Alright. That is not ideal. And Whim's at -1, so... And I guess Regidrago is very frail. Yeah, that Dragon Energy did more than I thought it would. It's gotta be base power 10 or something at that point. Okay, so the good news is we still have our Banded Urshifu in the back, so all it needs is one Banded Sucker Punch to take it out, I would think. We just need to put a little more chip onto it, and they can only attack one of us, so at this point I think we just double attack. One more turn of Electric Terrain, so its attacks won't be as powerful next turn. But, yeah, I don't think that matters, honestly. We saw how powerful Max Alecki can be, so I think we just double attack into it, and then as long as we put enough chip to put it in Banded Sucker Punch range from our Urshifu, we should be just fine. Still, this is another situation where you can't just be careless. Also the second time in a row now that I've gotten overconfident after scoring the lead early on and then almost throw it in the end game. They targeted Whimsicott though, so that's actually amazing. As long as they really should have just taken out Draco. As long as Draco Meteor connects, and it does. Great. All right, great game to my opponent. I'm really glad we got to see both Lecky and Drago show their stuff this game. That's actually awesome, and we won several. I actually got a couple more practicing before this. I guess hyper offense just clicks sometimes. Would actually like to see where we ended up after all that. Updating. Yeah, not bad. I granted I'll probably tank it testing out new teams for the channel, but yeah. Hope you all enjoyed the video. As always, rental code is in the beginning and in the description. There were also requests with last week's Electivire video to add pastes, so I'm going to start doing that in the descriptions as well, starting with this video and the last one. This rental is replacing the Dialga Discwake team from Series 8, so remember to grab these rentals quickly if you want to try them out. Until next time.